Hey guys, welcome to Comfy Cozy Up. So we are officially in May, and so happy thoughts, happy thoughts. So today I'm going to do my wrap up for April. So April was a struggle, guys. I've read 5 books, didn't finish my TBR, and then also read books that wasn't on the TBR. So that should explain, like, I am a mood reader. So it was just picking up books that were speaking to me, that was gonna make me smile, laugh, all that good stuff. So but overall, love the books that I picked up, and I'm gonna talk about it. 3 are physical books and 2 are e-reads, and the 2 e-reads are also new books that was released were released in April. So yeah. So the first book I want to talk about is T The Night Masquerade, which is the 3rd book in the series. So guys, you know when you read series and you have this great expectation of some highlights, some kind of something, exciting is gonna happen, and that's what I wanted with this. And I would say I got about 70% of what I wanted. It was okay. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't as exciting as I hoped that it would have been. It's just, it's an okay ending to a series. It does tie up a lot of things. It does give you this hero, female hero situation, and family. They had that feel good moment at the end with the family situation. So but I want more. I don't know why, but I want more. The next book is a book I also reviewed, which is A Phoenix First Must Burn. And this is a collection of short stories. There's about 16 stories, 16 different authors. And one of the motives for me to ask for this, because I did receive it as an R, was because I wanted to read stories from these authors, and hoping that it would inspire me to pick up their full-length novel. And I loved it. But this is one of those short story collection that I feel there were 8 absolutely loved stories. We're talking easily, a lot of them were 5 stars. And then there were 8 where it was okay, and a few were just not memorable. But the 8 that I really loved was so strong that this is still a really good collection. And I really want people to check it out. Go check out my review. So I talk about the stories in this that I actually liked, and why I kind of liked it more. They all have a similar theme. So yeah, but I definitely recommend this. I think it's a good way to get into reading stories, checking out authors' writing style before you actually jump into their full-length book, that kind of deal. But there are a few stories that from especially one of the authors, that a little bit different from what she normally writes, which makes me wonder, if she's gonna dibby dab into this. But go check out my review. So the last physical book is a classic, and that is Madame Bovary. Now guys, this book made me laugh. I'm still thinking about the shenanigans in this book. It is best described as the original Desperate Housewives. So if you like that kind of drama and that kind of classic storyline, you would love this. What I would say is, now that I'm so deep into this classic world, this makes me also realize how entertaining classics can be, and how much we should definitely read more of them. I think had I read this, when I was young, I might not have appreciated it as much, but I liked it. It is a French debut novel, and it's translated in English. And to me, it did a really good job, because, sometimes books translated, it's a hit or miss. But this one was really good. The writing style was easy to follow. Now, the character in this is very entertaining. You have a wife who wants something else other than her husband, and she wants money and all these things, and what she's willing to do, and how she is, going on this wrong path. And it just was entertaining. It was it's not really a happy story in terms of that, but it's just to think of what women did back then and how women were perceived back then is also what makes it, a page turner, and what makes you laugh because of that. And the main character, she was just, she was stupid. So definitely go check out my reading vlog for this. I think you will, enjoy it. So yeah. Now the two books that are new releases. The first one I did a review of as well, and it's from Eric Jerome Dickey, and it's called The Business of Lovers. And this is an author that is been a bit strange lately with his writing style, and to be honest, it's not that much cleanup was done in this book. But what really sold it for me is the actual storyline. The storyline to me is interesting because it talks about sex as a coping method, and or as a way of escaping, and or people who are just trying to find themselves and how they use sex in that way. And although it has a lot of erotic content in this story, it still had it was done in a way that you got the message. You got in a way where I wasn't creeped out, to be honest with you, for what it is, where you have two brothers and one is accidentally became an escort, and the other one struggling with his past and his family's situation, his son, and and all that drama that surrounds him. The sex part just kind of was like, okay, it happened, all right, what's gonna happen next situation. It just was done in a way where I actually enjoyed it. I got the message. It made me think, it's something that he did that was different in terms of that. But there are some of his, crazy antics in the writing style still there. So if you are struggling with his writing style, you're probably going to be scratching your head at some moments, because he does say some crazy, I call it, time difference. He's, older author, and I think sometimes he's a little bit dated in some of the comments, quotes that he uses in the book. So yeah. But I really like the story. I really like the story. So the last book I read was also a new release, and this was the latest this came out early this week, and this is it's called My Favorite Souvenir, and this is so good. And it's by two authors that I've read many of their books together as a writer and separately, and that is Penelope Ward and Vi Keelan. Now, the book is done in part 1 and 2, and if you've read quite a few of these authors, you can kind of sometimes tell who wrote what. And the first part of the book was everything. It was so sweet. It just made me smile. As a single person, it just had me stop thinking, oh, why this can't happen to me. It was just, I'm all about the adventure and being spontaneous and, all that stuff. And I love road trips and all that. And that's what the first part of the book was. You have two characters who are basically going through it. One guy, he is, he's dealing with the past. He never quite dealt with something that happened, and he's always in a run. He's always going somewhere. He's always leaving and spending less time with his friends and family. He's just that person. And then you have a female who was scheduled to get married, and her fiance called off the wedding, so she's devastated, and she just wanted to get away and just be somewhere. And they both end up in a situation. How they got in a situation is so funny, so cute. And all the things that happened to them, how they connected and this adventure they were on. It was so, so nice. Now, the second part of the book, there were just things that happened I didn't like. So it was kind of like, oh, come on. I was on this high from part 1, and I loved it. And then here comes part 2, where there is just this, we call it triangle situation, and pick me, no, pick me. And it was just like, we didn't need that. It was on a good route. You were just doing so good. You were getting me. You were having me smiling and happy. And then that part just kind of like, like womp womp. So, it's one of those ones that I'm like, I don't even know how to rate this, because it's like, I love part 1. Part 1 was just like it for me. And then part 2 was just, it was okay. I mean, the ending was sweet. I do like how they did the ending, which, it reminded me of an old movie. I'm not going to tell you because that might give away. But the ending gave me that vibes. But it's just, yeah, it's just some things that just didn't need to happen, which makes me feel like the second part of the book felt like a Penelope Ward situation. It did. And I felt like she wrote the second part. So might be wrong, but hey. But other than that, you know, that was it. I loved it. I recommend it. If you know, if you, the first part alone was just enough for me. But I definitely recommend if you're looking for like a nice feel good, make you smile kind of romance. So yeah. That is it, guys. I am not gonna do a TBR for May because I didn't finish my April TBR, so I'm gonna finish it. I am about halfway in Jane's Bold Another Country. Taking me along a little longer with this one. This is different from his others, and yeah, we'll talk about it more later in a video. And I also have, I think, 2 other books on my Kindle that was supposed to be read and didn't read it. So I am going to continue those, and stay tuned for my part 2 of my classics. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and have a good day.